Good evening everyone, welcome to FGM eCast for your Monday night. We are back with the ANZCAR Truck Series. As we've just got Michael Skurlock on the screen there, parking the 350 Mobile in the wrong spot. We're at Martinsville for, we've got 3 rounds to go, including this one in the Truck Series Season 2 2021, and I'm joined tonight by Carl Withy. Carl, obviously both a bit sad tonight after the result this morning.
Yeah, a bit of a rough morning for us all. Unfortunately, of course, Italy making our dreams fail miserably. Hurts a lot. It hurts an awful lot. But we are going to have some fun tonight here at Martinsville. We will let go of the sadness and come here for some joy, for some fantastic truck racing. Absolutely,
and we've updated the livery for tonight, the overlay for tonight as well. So we've got the new NASCAR 2020 timing tower installed in the FGM eCast booth, so we're going to have a look at that. It looks a little bit plain at the moment, but we'll keep working on it over the next couple of weeks. See, in practice at the moment, so those gaps are stationary because, of course, the time between the cars not necessarily changing based on fastest lap that they have done at this point in time, but yeah, there we go. So a little bit of an update for us here so far tonight, and as I said, we'll keep working on it.
Yeah, it's looking good, and it is that thing of getting it all nice and spick and span as the season, season's coming to a close almost now, but as the years go on, getting everything nice and ready to go. We are here at Martinsville tonight, a nice short track, only half mile, I think it is, 0.85 a kilometre. So a very, very short track tonight. This is going to be one heck of a fun race. Martinsville is a favourite amongst most short track enthusiasts. Relatively cool track temperatures tonight. That's going to be useful for the tyres, of course, but you do tend to wear out those tyres quickly. That concrete on the corner entry and exit is there for a reason, because these cars like to light it up and they do tear up the asphalt quite quickly. So it's going to really rip them tyres to shreds.
Yeah, absolutely, and we might get an update from you, Carl, as well, if we can, on the current championship standings. As I mentioned, 3 races to go, including this one, before we will crown a new champion for Season 2 2021.
Yeah, and championship as it stands from 9 races, Indianapolis last time out, is still Edward Foster in the lead. Will he get a win this season? That's the question. He's managed to stay there with consistency, but not taking out a victory so far. He's got 353 points. Second place is Jason Martin, 25 points behind. Third is Josh Micklemore, 33 points down. A little bit further back, we have Nathan Clark, 98 points off the lead. 5th is Matty Ray with 99 off the lead. 6th, we have James Robbie, 103 points down. Norman Clark in 7th, 105. 106 points down in 8th is Ruben Phelps. 9th is Christopher Finley, 113 points off the lead. 115 is Gary Wellman. So it is really close from 4th to 10th. There is not much between those guys. And at the top, 3rd to 1st, only 33 points in it. It is definitely close up there between Josh Micklemore, Jason Martin and Edward Foster.
Yeah, so who will come out on top tonight? You can see there at the moment, Foster sitting in 3rd, and almost a dead heat there between Joshua Carroll Walden and Aidan Schultz at the front. Schultz is still showing some good form again late in the season, so currently sitting in 2nd place. Me on the screen now, Michael Skurlock has got the 4th fastest time. Jaden Russell there in behind them as well. Ben Vickers putting in another strong showing in the 77 Juice Digital, my apologies, entry, which has just come up on the screen there as well. So we've got, plenty of contestants for the race win tonight, and of course, being on a short track, Cole, you worked it out, I think it was something like 434 laps or something like that we've covered in ANZCAR with no caution periods.
Yeah, 455 laps by my counting. So it's quite a few laps. How many more will we get tonight? It is going to be... I've got a feeling that the green flag stint is going to be coming to an end here tonight at Martinsville. If we go green for this whole race, I think I'll eat my hat.
Maybe time to get a It's Going Rome tattoo, Carl.
I can't portray my heritage too much with that, but I think if it goes green, definitely, I will definitely be very surprised.
Yeah, and of course with the short track, we've had the benefit of the long tracks, and of course included in two races at a road circuit, of course, as well. So a little bit deceptive there, but still we've had plenty of green flag running here. But I think we're going to see plenty of that there as Michael Skurlock just manages to avoid. I think that might have been Kate Donnelly there. I didn't quite catch it, but manages to avoid a track. But just there, as you see, it's Double D Dave getting into Michael Skurlock. I think we're going to see a little bit of that tonight. Of course, pit entry will be a little tricky here as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Martinsville is a notoriously tricky track to get around. The pit entry, you're coming in at relatively fast speed. You're coming in at almost, you're entering the pit lane, and you're sort of going in towards the pit lane. You've got to brake from around 200 kilometers per hour, getting up to 200 down those straights. So it is very fast. It's deceptively fast as well. Big thing, of course, is braking and accelerating, and that's one of the hardest points. I'll talk a little bit more about that when we go to qualifying, but it is one of those tracks where you really have to be very careful on the throttle. So it is always being a little bit careful with stuff like that. But at the moment, you've got to say it's looking good up there. Aidan Schultz setting some good pace. We've seen he's having some good runs in the trucks as of late as well. So hopefully his black cat has left him for a while, and he can get some good results. We were actually running in the Weekend Warriors series last night, me, Aidan and Edward Foster, and in the Legends car, and that was a little bit of fun, and Foster taking out a double victory. Yeah, some interesting racing there. It was a good night for all, and nice to just let the hair down and have a bit of fun on the track.
A bit of destruction derby going on in the background. I was just trying to catch a couple of guys jumping into pit lane. You did see it there just at the top of the screen, but the very, very tight entrance for them, and there's the exit there. So this one here, well, it's going to be a challenge for a number of different reasons, but that man there on screen, Edward Foster, in the 53 Natari Autosport entry, currently leading the championship. So he'll be looking for a strong showing. And it's interesting, Carl, I picked up on a point you mentioned just before, where you said, will Edward Foster take out a win this season? Now, if we cast our minds back to last season, which of course happened at the start of this year, one Stephen Williams, if memory serves me correct, only took home one win on his pathway to the championship.
Yeah, that's right. Stevie Dub took one victory last season, so a little bit of a strange one to only get the one win in a championship year. To do it with no wins is something else, and it's been a bit dry for Foster this year in all series. I think he has got a win in the Thunder series. I'm just having to double check my notes now. No, he doesn't actually. So he had the win, of course, at the duel at the beginning of the year, the bit of the opening race, the fun race, almost non-championship race, of course, on the Daytona road course in the Cup Series. But he hasn't actually had a win in the ANZCAR Series. Sort of. He's been a bit of a long dry spell. I think last season in the trucks, I seem to remember, I think Foster got a win at Darlington, of course, one of the other short tracks of the calendar. So this might be the night where we see Foster breaking the duck egg and actually managing to get a win for his truck championship campaign in season 2. But as you said, Stephen Williams only got the win at Homestead, Miami last year, but managed to take out the championship. So will Foster be able to keep a hold of that championship? He's got two extremely fast drivers behind him in Martin and Mickelmore, though.
Yeah, and I guess the point that I was trying to make there as well is that you don't necessarily need to win. It's about consistency and finishing, and routinely finishing inside the top 10 can be good enough to get you home for the championship. Of course, Foster hasn't led the entire season to date, but has just done enough every week to just quietly manoeuvre his way up to the top of the championship.
Yeah, that's it. Look, consistency is an incredibly useful thing. I think it was Matt Crafton who ended up getting the win in 2019, I think it was, for the actual truck series. and I don't think he got a single win in that series. I think he managed to get the championship without getting a single win, and that was in a chase situation as well, which is a little bit different. But to actually get the win out of consistency in a chase series is impressive. But even in a non-chase situation, getting a win from consistency, it shows the importance of consistency.
Absolutely it does. So we'll see what happens here. But, that man there on screen, Josh Mickelmore, will be sure to be contesting for the win here tonight as well. He's had a really strong run. The Mitch Motorsport boys doing very well through it. So let's see how they go tonight. Of course, Jason Martin currently just popped up into third place as well. And Martin and Mickelmore support one another very, very well, running in tandem. And of course, having a good result here last week. So let's see how they go again tonight.
Yeah, that's it. You know, Mitch Motorsport always very strong. They are a super team for a reason. You know, having Mickelmore, Martin, Danny G, and Hamish Gallagher in the same team. Four winning drivers and very successful drivers in the ANZCAR series. All of them taking race victories. All of them managing to be up there or thereabouts in championships or winning championships. So very, very good drivers in that group. But of course, Atari with Foster, they have JCW, Joshua Carroll-Walden, who's currently top of the timing boards. Joshua Carroll-Walden's had a very big dry spell for the last couple of last year really. We haven't seen JCW up on the top of the podium for quite some time, so he will be interested in getting a victory tonight, and if he can help support his teammate Foster to get a better position in the championship, I'm sure he will be doing that too.
Yeah, so a few interesting equations to have a look at here tonight. As we're just about to conclude practice, we will head into solo qualifying, of course, as is standard here on ANZCAR in the Truck Series, and that'll be coming up for you in just a few minutes. We'll jump on board with one of our drivers tonight and have a run around with them as Carl takes us through a very, very prompt lap, shall we say, of the circuit here.
Yeah, there's not much lap to talk about here, as we said. Only less than a kilometre, so 85 metres, I think. I terrible at working out in kilometres, unfortunately.
No, that's all
85 a kilometre.
Part of where you're from, of course. So we're on board here. We're going to jump on with Dave Douglas. He's going to take us around in the 199 entry. And Carl, he's just decided to eat a little bit of the wall here. So we'll start again.
Yeah, Dave Douglas just chewing on the wall there. That's not going to help him, and he's just wall riding it around, so that is not going to be useful. So we'll see if there's anybody else we can jump onto to get a good lap. I think Ryan Wooden is just coming out of pit lane, so might just jump back to him.
Here we are on board with Ryan Wooden.
Wonderful. So coming up to the start-finish line, across the start-finish line, big sprint getting up to 170, 180 kilometres per hour, braking down to about 110, 115 kilometres an hour in the corner. Keep on the concrete. That's where the grip is. Down the back straight, accelerating up to almost 200 kilometres per hour. Get on the concrete again. He's gone up a little bit high there. That's going to cost him on the entry, but it will give him good run off on the exit. So this second lap should be faster for Wooden in that beautiful Chomps livery. So I think we're just trying to get a little bit of a better run for this second lap. So again, coming through the final corner now, getting nice and down this time. He's got on that concrete at the right time, cruising around there, nice speed, good exit speed there. Getting up towards the wall, you need to run right up next to the wall to get a good run through there and get the speed. And that's jumped him up to P11. Not a bad lap from Wooden there.
Indeed, Michael Skurlock's just head out onto the track, I should say, and he's about to get into his first lap here. So stick on board with Michael Skurlock in that 350 Castrol liveried entry.
Yeah, the Welsh fiddler, Mr. Michael Skurlock, was his birthday this last week. Michael Skurlock celebrating his birthday. The nibbler himself, the fiddler, the Welsh wonder, the magician. The mighty man, Mr. Michael Skurlock, of course, the man of a million different nicknames.
I was about to say, as he just jumps up into second place there, first lap around. He's 3 100ths behind Andrew Dyson, who currently sits on pole position there, you can see on top. And
one to watch out for is Jaden Russell. He's just set a blinding first lap. Will the second lap be quicker? He's coming up to the line very shortly. He's going to try and get a good lap. He's hugging that inside and just clips the curb, and that's cost him this run, unfortunately. Jaden Russell's going to have to settle for 6th position.
And just showing on screen there that Daiso and Skurlock had almost dead heat for pole position as well. So very, very close at the front in this one. We've just got, I think, Jason Martin, who's literally just gone to the top of the timing charts, as I mentioned his name. He's out on track, as is Josh Mickelmore at the moment. Mickelmore, unfortunately, I should say, has got through cleanly on his second lap there to get the 31 entry up into provisional pole position. Just waiting to see if Jason Martin can improve. I think he might have just touched the wall there as well, although no damage on the side there, but not able to improve on that lap time. So look at how close it is at the front there. That's a picture car, isn't it? 0.01. We've got 19.41 for pole position at this stage with Josh Mickelmore. 0.01 to Martin, 0.01 to Dyson, 0.01 to Skurlock. Now, that's actually closer than that. Our system obviously rounds down to 2 decimal places. So there is 100ths between them at the front.
Yeah, to give you an idea, it's there is two that have 1,000th of a second between Martin and Dyson. There is nothing between those guys. They're separated by absolutely nothing down to down to Trehair, really. I mean, it's so close up the top. There is nothing separating these guys, and it just shows how quick these guys are. It shows how just how competitive it is out there. And Dave Douglas just letting us know that the Highline's not working tonight. So I think we saw that a little bit.
Yeah, Dave, we did. We got a bit of an insight into that, mate, while we're on board with you. So you get to watch that back in all its glory on the replay later on this evening. But we were on board with you there when you were testing out the durability of the walls around Martinsville. So thank you for your concern for everyone's safety, but they clearly are all good.
Yeah, those walls definitely working tonight. And we got a couple of late arrivals tonight. So we'll see if they can actually get in on the field. See if they actually end up lining up. So that will be interesting to see. But let's start running through the grid. So up on pole position on the front row, it's a Mitch Motorsport lockout. Josh Mickelmore, Jason Martin. Second row, we have Dyson Skurlock. Third is Schultz and Foster. Fourth, Trehair Russell. Sixth, Williams Capel. Seventh is Davidson Donnelly. Eighth, Raymond Wellman. Ninth, we have Urquio and Patton. 10th is Wooden and Priest. 11th, we have Rollock and Koch. 12th, Finley and Carol Walden. 13th is Maxfield and Clark. 14th, we have Spencer Tompkins. 14th, Douglas Callow. We have Nathan Clark, Hobbs, Vickers, Curtis, Dillon and Burkick towards the back of the grid.
Absolutely. As you said, a few jumping in late there. Jackson Callow just jumping in right at the death nail there, but getting onto the grid. So he will line up for this one.
Yeah, just making it in with the Pace Syndicate entry. So he very much skin of his teeth got through and got into this one. I think Matty Carlione was trying to get in as well, but I think he might have just missed it slightly. So unfortunate for him. But that's a tricky thing when you're finishing late for work. Sometimes it's hard to get in on time. But we have got a Mitch Motorsport lockout at the front. How many times have we seen this? The 21 and the 31 side by side. We know that Mitch Motorsport run very well and they are good on these short tracks, but how will everybody else go?
Yeah, well, time will tell. As we get ready to follow the pace truck around here. 130 laps tonight for the ANZCAR Truck Series on your Monday night on FGM eCast. Pace truck moves away. As Carl said, we'll set off behind the Mitch Motorsport pairing of Josh Mickelmore and Jason Martin. Got the DPR entry of Andrew Dyson, a name we've mentioned a heck of a lot this season currently. It's going to be in fourth. Michael Skurlock lying out next to him. Aiden Schultz, good performance there with Foster next to him. Luke Trehair, Jaden Russell. Got Steve Williams, good qualifying performance from Steve. It's one of the areas he's probably struggled a little bit this season. And Lachlan Capel, new entrant, of course, to ANZCAR. He did a really good job last week in finishing in third position, and here he is tonight inside the top 10 to start off.
Yeah, really strong performance and good attitude as well coming from Lockwell. Really nice to hear. And great to see some fresh faces in the series. You know, that's the thing that we are looking for, is some new blood coming in. You know, as much as we love seeing the grizzled veterans going around and beating the panels, we do need some fresh faces and some fresh blood coming into the series, because that's how things end up not carrying on, unfortunately. And luckily, we have had a great year of fresh faces coming in. So pace truck is going to pull into pit lane. Josh Micklemore is going to become the effective pace truck right now. He's going to come around turn number 4 for the first time tonight, and he's going to drop the loud pedal now, and it is green for Martinsville Speedway here on FGM eCast for Series 2, Season 2 of the Truck Series.
So it's a good start there from the 2 Mitch Motorsport boys. Skirley getting caught a little bit, just tapped the wall there. That's allowed Edward Foster up into 3rd position. Early on in this one, looks like Aiden Schultz has gone with him as well. Jaden Russell going to get the move on between them as well, as we jump back to have a little look at this here. So Skirley just grabbing the wall a little early there, and that's just cost him a couple of spots early on.
Yeah, you do not want to catch that wall too early. I mean, obviously, keeping out the wall is important for a track like this. It is super vital to keep those trucks nice and clean. But luckily, you're not going to lose too much, just getting a little bit of damage on the front of the truck. The only thing you've got to watch out for is cooling.
Absolutely is down underneath there. Having a look at that. Look, Andrew Dyson just dropped right out of the top 10 there. He's just making his way back up the field. I'm not sure what happened there, Carl, if you can have a look back. But yeah, Dyson there at the start just getting mobbed.
Yeah, Dyson, I think he had a bit of an issue with the car. He sort of had it's almost like he missed a gear or something. I saw somebody dropping out of contention, and he lost the rear end, so he put his foot down on the truck, and all of a sudden it snapped out of position, so he had to save it, but he lost a lot of positions at the front.
So you can see Edward Foster's close back up on our leaders, Josh Micklemore and Jason Martin, and Aiden Schultz going. They created a small gap here over Michael Skurlock and Jaden Russell, currently running 5th and 6th. So Lachlan Capel, good stuff from him, up 3 positions and currently running in
Oh, we've got a truck
7.
going round with Aaron Dillon. He's lost the back end. Are we going to see a caution flag come out? No, we don't. But Dillon has lost it. He's going to come. The leaders are going to come up to him very quickly. You're going to see him on the low line there. He lost the rear end coming into turn number 2. So you can see there Dillon just in front of these guys. A big hit for him. That was a big accident there, and luckily did not get the caution flag coming out.
So that's green run continues. Lap 7 already here at Martinsville.
Yeah, somehow that remained green. I was expecting to see the yellow coming out then for sure, but somehow indeed the green flag was kept out. So that's good news indeed for all these drivers, because we want to keep it green for as long as possible. Keep this racing going. We're seeing some good racing down the field. They're going to start forming into a sort of single line relatively shortly, because there's no point in pushing it too hard too early, because you can't win a race on the first lap, but you sure as heck can lose it. We're seeing a great battle down here. Lachlan Creo, Luke Trehair, Matty Raymond, the usual features. Ryan Wooden up there as well, doing another good job. He's having a good run as well. But lots of trucks there fighting side by side at the moment, trying to get some good positions. Skurlock has got Jaden Russell all over the back of him at the moment. Russell is really putting on the pressure on Skirley, just giving him a little bit of a nudge to say, I want to get past. 28 does get underneath Skirley, gets the position. Jaden Russell moving up to 5th.
Good clean pass there from Russell, just patient, biding his time a little bit, and then making the move and making it stick as Lachlan Capel now up onto the back of Michael Skurlock.
Yeah, Skurlock struggling here at the start. Saw him go up into the wall. I'm wondering if he got a little bit of damage on the suspension with the truck. Just struggling a little bit for pace, or he could be just easing it off a little bit to keep the truck in with the good. Keep the truck's tyres in good condition. Of course, tyre wear is going to be vital here, so you might see a few people just easing off a little bit, not pushing too hard, just trying to get a little bit more tyre life out of there, just in case we do get a long green flag period.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things that's been introduced to the series. I say introduced to the series, that's the wrong thing to say actually. It's there's been a couple of single stop races run this season, and I think it's got a lot of the mainstay drivers thinking, as we've got our first caution here, we have our first caution period.
Or a big one.
It does look like a big one. There's a whole heap of names that have come up on the stream here. Just scroll back and have a look and find out if we can. It looks like Ryan Wooden was at the start of that. We'll jump back and have a quick look.
Yeah, I saw Noddy Tompkins get involved in that as well, so just having a bit of a look-see here. Wooden just losing the rear end of the truck going around. I think that was Gary Wellman getting caught up there. Aaron Dillon just getting a slight bang. And then there's a secondary accident behind him with Noddy Tompkins just going around in sympathy. I think he just locked the rears up, just trying to avoid the accident. And yeah, that's caused that accident to happen. And I think Dave Douglas just got into the side of Tompkins as well. So I think Tompkins actually was the innocent party of that one. I think it was more so a little bit of Dave Douglas just getting into the side of Tompkins there. And it was more so to do with the good thing of netcode, I think, more than anything, between Tompkins and Dave Douglas there. They weren't too close to each other, at least on my screen, but they had that bit of an accident, and that's a fair few cars out. That brings us our first caution in about 460 odd laps of racing for the ANZCAR series.
Yeah, so we didn't quite make that golden 500, but pretty innocuous set of events there, actually. It looked a lot worse on the timing screen because, of course, we get a whole heap of things just turn red and alarms go off and what have you, but only really damage to two trucks. So a good outcome, I guess, but a couple of trucks going a lap down as well.
Yeah, that's going to drop a few people off this lead lap. I'm wondering if we're going to see anybody decide to come into pit lane and just try throw some fresh tyres on. Will we see the pack come in? Will we see everybody stay out? That's going to be a big question here.
Well, Skirley did jump into pit lane. He's got a new set of boots on the 350, so maybe struggling early on with a bit of tyre wear.
Yeah, it's going to help him out a little bit. He had that damage as well, remember, so that's going to help him out a little bit. He's going to have that damage fixed as well.
Oh, yes.
So should help him out a little bit in that respect. But I think Brent Hobbs decided to come in too. So not many cars deciding to come in. Most of them deciding that track position was more vital than fresh rubber. This early in the race, that is definitely a wise decision. I mean, you don't want to be right at the back of the pack this early stages, because that's where, if an accident does happen, you're going to most likely get caught up in it.
Yeah, definitely. So 17 laps through here, and we'll go around one more time, and then the lights will be out. So they are there, and it will be Josh Micklemore who will lead us away with Jason Martins. Pretty nice and comfy at the front at the moment. A little bit of scary stuff there where they had to get past one of the, I think it might have been Ryan Wooden at the start there. They had to get past, but yeah, other than that, pretty smooth sailing at the start there, nice and clean from everyone. As we have the pace truck pull in now under Josh Micklemore's control once again. When will he go? Probably straight out of the corner here. He does straight away. Important not to get wheel spin there and lose the back of the truck. As Edward Foster goes there as well. You've got a huge bunch of cars just bunching up in the background there. I think we've got a contact over here. We have indeed. Jaden Russell, he got turned into there, I think, and he's just copped another whack in the front there with everyone trying to check up. And in a matter of moments, we've had two cautions as the pace truck didn't even get a new cup of tea there before it had to head out, and Jaden Russell's truck is damaged quite badly. Oh, jeez, it just misses, I think, was that Brent Hobbs or somebody who went through behind him.
Jaden Russell getting spun round, and then we had a whole heap of cars get caught up in that one. Lots and lots of vehicles. I think it was, you just see Stevie Dub getting down there, just packing the end of Russell, and Russell just getting spun around. Nothing he can do about that one. He just goes around, and then all of a sudden he's going to get run into by all of the trucks behind him. That's not what you want, is a wreck that high up the field, because that's usually when you get a lot more damage than you will expect.
Andrew Dyson got punted up the back there. It looks like he got reasonably lucky as the 16 there of Todd Maxfield, not quite so, but looks like he got away with it a little bit there, Dyson. I'm going to jump on board with him and we'll have another look at this one.
see here.
Sorry about that. It's just that was the operator tonight. We'll just jump back in and have a look at that one.
The good old replays getting them working. So we'll soon see here from the onboard just how scary it is. So when you're in a position like this, there's not much you can really do, unfortunately. You're sort of stuck in a position. You can see there Stevie Dub just getting it into Jaden Russell, spinning him around. You see Lachlan Capel just getting up on that high side. He does great avoiding action. On the outside there, Troy Davidson as well. Really nicely done. And Jaden Russell just got spun around a little bit more, which helped Andrew Dyson. Unfortunately, he had somebody, Lachlan Urquio just going to the back of him, just unable to get the brakes down in time, just locked up and just all four wheels locked up and went into the back of Dyson there. But that's not going to cause too much damage. Right on the back of the truck like that is generally, if you're going to get hit, that's where you want to get hit.
Yeah, so we'll see how that affects Dyson. Obviously, with the way the track is as well, he's probably going to be okay. So we'll see how he goes.
Yeah, that shouldn't really cause too much issue. The one that's probably going to hurt most is going to be Lachlan Urquio, because hitting the front of the truck like that does damage the cooling systems of the vehicle. You can see quite a bit of damage to that left front as well, so that's going to hurt his night more than it is going to hurt Andrew Dyson, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right there.
Very tricky, but good situational awareness from Lachlan Capel. As we said, he's relatively new to the oval side of things, especially to ANZCAR as well, and good avoiding action by the young driver in the 018.
Yeah, what a ripping start to his career with ANZCAR. So very exciting to have him join the field. Good young fella as well with, I think you mentioned before, a fantastic attitude too. So definitely a great addition to the ANZCAR family here. And looking forward to seeing how he runs again if he gets to do so again on Thursday night.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him in a few different series. Micklemore's going to run away again. Foster doesn't lose the rear end this time. That first restart, he lost that rear end a little bit and ran up towards Aidan Schultz. A little bit scary biscuits for those drivers. Good job from Aidan just to hold off. You see Foster really going up there as Schultz gets hit at the back by Capel, and again gets hit by Davidson. Aidan Schultz gets turned around there, unfortunately. That is the Black Cat returning there for Schultz. Davidson just not able to slow it down and just got up into the back of Aidan Schultz, and I think Stephen Williams as well got caught up in that one.
Cautions breeding cautions here. We haven't had one for ages. Now we've had three in a very short period of time. Let's jump back and have a look at that one there. I think, as you said, Schultz just copped it a little bit, unfortunately. So we'll go back here and have a look.
So yeah, when we get back to this one, the Schultz just got caught up on the high line. He just catches Lachlan Capel actually a little bit further on, and then Troy Davidson tries to break down on the inside. You're going to see Lachlan Capel here just coming up a little bit, Schultz coming down a little bit. Bit of a racing incident between those two, but both of them kept the cars straight, so no damage there. Schultz has just instinctively gone down to the low side. Troy Davidson, unable to get it stopped in time, has just gone barreling into Schultz. Nothing Davidson could really do in that situation as well, because you're on the brakes heavy and all of a sudden you're going to lock up and you're just going to have trouble. And then 98 of Stevie Dub just gets pulled up into that barrier by Aidan Schultz, and yeah, that's going to put a bit of damage on the front of the DPR car.
Yeah, just the innocent bystander there, and then you've got the 029 of Greg Spence coming through. He had nowhere to go whatsoever, and the 77 Juice Digital entry as well of Ben Vickers. He just managed to get that out of the way, so nowhere there for Greg Spence to go, really. Probably avoided a majority of the damage that he would have taken, otherwise he would have gone ploughing through Steve Williams, so he'll should be able to get out of that and keep going, you imagine?
Yeah, it should be all good there, not too much damage. It's just got to get the car back on the action. So once again, cautions breeding cautions. It's been a while since we've seen them, but when they come like a bus. All of a sudden you get 6 in a row. So this is the third caution now of the race, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll go back to some green flag running. This is going to help those guys for fuel saving. It's going to help keep those tyres a bit more alive. People, it's not going to help those guys that decided to come in a little bit early. Skurlock running his way up the field. He's managed to make it up into 18th position at the moment. He is on the freshest tyres of the whole field. Dave Douglas came in a couple of laps ago as well, so he's on some relatively fresh boots too. So everybody from 21st down decided to come in a little bit earlier. So a lot of people have taken tyres. Quite a few still need to take some rubber. Those guys at the front obviously keeping out and just keeping up track position, which is vital on a track like Martinsville where accidents can happen so quickly.
Yeah, most definitely. As the lights go out again on the pace truck, so we're going to get going into this one.
As they come around the final set of corners.
And it will be Mickelmore and Martin again. We've said it a couple of times here. Lockie Capel up into 4th with Edward Foster as we're green again. Foster gets another good restart there as well. There's a little bit of traffic there with Davison just checking up a little bit. Luke Trahair running wide. You can see the damage there on the 41 entry. It's Matty Raymond doing a good job down there as well with Nathan Rawlock. Back down in the pack, you can see it just grouping up there as well. But back under clean starts here.
Yeah, Matty Ray actually got a little bit of door-to-door contact on that restart, just shuffled him out a little bit. I think it was himself and Dyson maybe just getting a little bit of contact with each other, a little bit of rubbing. But rubbing is racing, son. Rubbing is racing. So not a problem with that. NASCAR, of course, is a contact sport. You know, you're allowed to make a little bit of rubbing here. Just got to try not to knock the other driver off. Got a mad battle down towards the back. We've got 3 wide currently going through the corner as I think that might be Koch there. Koch, Douglas, and I think it was Finlay as well on the outside. Got Riley Curtis there and Nathan Clark as well. So a lot of cars, a lot of fast drivers up there just trying to push their way through. And those guys are on fresh tyres as well. So they've got a little bit more speed than some of the other drivers around them. Oh, as a little bit further up, Kate Donnelly just makes a bit of a mistake. Gets a lot of wheel spin coming out the corner. Almost catches out JCW, Joshua Carroll Walden, with Dwayne Priest behind him. They managed to keep it going though. Meanwhile, we've got the battle up the front. Mickelmore is keeping Martin off his door, but you can see Foster right on the edge, right on the back of Jason Martin at the moment. Lachlan Capel just giving these guys a little bit of breathing room with Troy Davidson there, and a bit further back, Luke Trahair. Luke Trahair wanted to come back. Trahair loses the rear end. That's going to be a caution as Trahair loses the rear end. Is anybody going to catch him? Luckily, most people have managed to avoid it. That was a scary moment for Trahair there, who was having a good run up there, but all of a sudden just put his foot down a little bit too heavily in turn 3. That rear end just loops around and it's a bit like a pendulum.
He's done a really good job there, actually, Trahair. Obviously not a great job in terms of the spin, but just held his foot on the brake there, and the field doing a ripping job in avoiding him completely. So that was basically an innocuous single car spin.
Yeah, look, this is one of the big things that's hard for some road racers to wrap their head around when they come oval racing, is put your foot on the brake and hold it there like nothing else. Matty Raymond and Nathan Rollock both coming in the pit lane right now as well. So interesting to see that Christopher Finlay joining them too. But holding your brake is super important on an oval, because it's easier to avoid a car that's stationary than it is to second guess where one's going to roll back. Trahair doing a good job just holding the brake. And as I said, it's one of those things that you instinctively you want to move the car away. You don't want to hold that brake because it is terrifying, especially if you're in big VR or something and you look to the side of you and you see about 30 odd cars steaming towards you. You think, oh, I'm going to die here. But generally people will be able to avoid you. So it is a really important skill to learn, and it's one of the biggest bits of advice that you can give anybody looking to come and race ovals, is just hold on to the brake, keep still and wait for the field to pass. Yeah,
so because of that, Trahair still with a clean truck, which of course we know is very, very important towards the end of the race. He didn't go a lap down either. He's going to pull into pit lane now and get some fresh boots on the 43, the way down entry. And Night Call Racing there, so he'll get that done and get back on with it again.
Yeah, that's it. The Way Down podcast, of course, and Way Down on Facebook as well for all your mixed martial arts needs and lots of interesting, fun fighting stuff that he gets up to in his hobby. Good job from him, but it's going to hurt him a little bit. But we have seen Traher do amazing jobs with fuel saving in the past, so this could be the opportunity that he needs to make it to the end on a tank. You know, we might be able to see Traher actually work his way back up the field from here. He could be in with a bit of a shout. If he can make it to the end now without needing to top up that tank, he could still be in with a chance of winning the race. Which again is one of those things that it's not often the case on a track where you can win a race when you've gone all the way back to the back of the grid.
Yeah,
but in
exactly.
ovals,
Right.
You've got that chance.
Yeah, as you say, I mean, that's exactly the point. So there's a lot more strategy in this than just turning left, if you're just having a look at it for the first time. And of course, this is a great place to start, is the ANZCAR Truck Series. It is the entry point into the ANZCAR family. So if you're going to get out and get some experience, do some racing, come out and join us. The grid is always welcoming, and the guys really, really good at handing out advice in the right way to help drivers improve. So if you're looking to get started, it is a good place to come and have a play.
That's it. And of course, Wednesday night for the Thunder Series and the Xfinity cars as well. If you can't make it on a Monday, then Wednesday is a viable option. The pace truck's going to peel in once again. We're going to say it again. Josh Micklemore's going to lead away. Jason Martin on the outside. Micklemore's going to drop the hammer on the exit of the corner once more. Gets away well. Foster manages to keep the rear of the truck tidy there. Gets away nicely. Gets away clean, importantly for him. He's going to want to stick to the back of Jason Martin. This is important for the championship. Foster can't let Martin and Micklemore run away from him. Ideally, he needs to finish ahead of them. As Troy Davidson's going to try and run up the inside. Kate Donnelly getting spun up a little bit, manages to keep hold of the truck. Spears up a little bit, but manages to keep a hold of the vehicle so he doesn't get a big crash. Andrew Dyson forcing his way through Davidson at the moment. So Dyson on a bit of a charge, getting up there towards Capel. There are drivers all over the place a little bit further down the field. Keep an eye out for Matty Ray and Nathan Rollock as well. Those guys on fresh tyres, looking to try and work their way up the field, keep it nice and clean. But they've got a lot of cars to work their way through. Michael Skurlock as well, he's up to P11th now, as he has got those slightly fresher tyres. He's got a little bit more fuel than the rest of the field, and he's working his way up there now, just getting up underneath Nigel Patton too. So there are plenty of passing going on through the field. And this is the sort of time where you could get another caution because, it gets a little bit dicey out there. Oh, as Kate Donnelly is going to go around. Kate Donnelly getting caught by Riley Curtis, and that is another caution. The 85 as well getting caught out with that one as he tries to take avoiding action. The 85 of Rollock just spearing into the wall. That was a big accident from Kate Donnelly and Riley Curtis. Kate Donnelly just going around and then avoiding action, trying to be taken by Nathan Rollock, actually ended up causing a secondary accident with Christopher Finlay and... I'm trying to see who that was. I think that might have been Jackson Callow, unfortunately.
Yes, we've just got it on screen here. So Riley Curtis there, innocent bystander, just getting clipped up. Dave Douglas as well, getting caught on that. And then I think, as you said, there might have been some avoiding action going on.
Yeah, you'll see just out of frame at the moment to the right is Nathan Rollock going around. And there you go, you see Christopher Finlay and then Jackson Callow. And I think that's Aiden Schultz as well getting caught up in that one.
Yeah, Schultz got caught there too. Look at that, bit of damage on the Crank Esports entry.
Big shame for Schultz because we saw he's got some good pace tonight and was running up there, but the Black Cat has returned for Schultz in the Truck Series, unfortunately. Not what we want to see. That's a big shame for him because he's not had the best of luck, and he's getting caught up in a few accidents that really aren't his doing there, and that's never what you want to see, and it just is very frustrating. Sometimes bad luck, it seems to really dog you sometimes, as the lead pack still keeping it out there. Jason Martin trying to lure the field into pit lane, trying to throw a few people down there and see if he can get a couple of people's attention. At the moment, Michael Skurlock is the highest runner on fresh tyres. He has got 33 laps on those tyres. The rest of the field, 47 laps on them. So he is up into P10 at the moment. And then we have a gaggle of cars. We've got Maddie Raymond and Nathan Rollock in 16th and 17th. Nathan Rollock actually managing to keep that truck up there despite having that secondary accident. So good job from him to keep it up there. And those guys are on very fresh tyres and have got some good speed as well. So keep an eye on that little battle. Greg Spencer and Riley Curtis both coming into pit lane again with Ryan Wooden as well. Ryan Wooden going a lap down though, so that's going to affect him a little bit. But Curtis and Spencer have got those fresh tyres. So again, they could be in for a good run if we get a good long green stint period. They could be in for some good luck.
Just looking there as well at the fact that that is one very, very clean 83 entry there of Matty Raymond. So he's got no damage at all on that car, as we've become accustomed to of old Mr. Shane. So good run from him in the back there to keep that one clean. You see damage on a fair few cars there. Good to see Aiden Schultz still able to get out and continue. We'll jump back up front here. We're speaking of clean cars, those Mitch Motorsport cars looking at polished in the light as we go green again. And it is Josh Micklemore once again to take us away with Jason Martin, his partner in crime there with him. Edward Foster gets another good restart, as is Lachlan Capel. You've got Andrew Dyson underneath them as well as we go too wide on the exit of the corner there. Lachlan Urquio just trying to get underneath Troy Davison and still sitting there. Andrew Dyson just in front of them. He got a little bit of damage early on as well, caught up in somebody else's incident, so he'll be happy to be up the front running with these guys too. So Lachlan Urquio, you can see a fair bit of damage there on the 42 entry. So there's still plenty to do here for these guys as we're on lap 52 of 130.
Lachlan Urquio just absolutely dive bombing Troy Davidson. He just gave no quarter there. Davidson just getting punted out the way, holding onto the car, but Lachlan is going to be getting a bit of a frowny face from Davidson, but I think Lockie's actually going to have to pit in this time. I think he might have actually hit his instant cap limit as well, so I think he might have a drive-through penalty there, unfortunately, with the fantastic Francois Civet helmet of his. But Lockie is being involved a few dings tonight, unfortunately, and this is going to be quite painful for him having to stop under green. That's going to lose him a fair few laps. Meanwhile, up the front, Micklemore up front, Martin second, Foster third. We've said that a few times tonight, that they are keeping a good run in there. Lachlan Capel up in a fourth at the moment with Andrew Dyson in fifth. Those guys are going to be charging hard. JCW, Joshua Carroll Walden, working his way up from 22nd to 6th at the moment. Good run from him.
Yeah, absolutely. The guy's doing a really good job here in the run. So we'll just stay focused on this battle here. Edward Foster in the 53 Atari Autosport entry, just putting a little bit of pressure on the back of Jason Martin. So stick there. You can see the background as well. Capel and Dyson close together and running. Carroll Warden and Davidson, as you said, as well, fighting. So battles right throughout here. We have lost half a dozen trucks or so to be expected on a short circuit like Martinsville. We can have a good extended run here, Carl.
We said it was going to be tricky tonight, and I think Davidson just gave Lachlan Urquio a little bit of payback. Just absolutely giving him a nice bit of a bump there from earlier. But we got a caution flag out as looks like Greg Spence has gone around. Greg Spencer, Christopher Finlay, and Ryan Wooden.
Just on board here with Christopher Finlay, just having a look at how this all came about. It does look like himself, and as you said, Greg Spence getting involved there as well. So how has this come about? As
we come up here, as we have to wait for the slow motion to get up there a little bit. So as we see here, Ryan Wooden's gone down for a bit of a dive bomb, caught Christopher Finlay, and that's just pushed him up into the back of Greg Spencer, who was really an innocent bystander in that. That's a really unfortunate one. He managed to catch the car, though, managed to get it back the right way, and you can see there the 80 just managing to get underneath there, just sliding through there, cigarette paper between those cars. Absolutely nothing there. A bee's private parts there between those two.
Very, very lucky indeed. And once again, the leaders, what will they do? You reckon they'll jump in now, Carl? They probably don't need to yet.
I've got a feeling with all these cautions, they might be able to make it to the end on a tank now. I think we might be looking at these guys trying to make it to the very end on what they've got. So a little bit of fuel saving might come into play a little bit later on, but it's definitely looking like they're going to be running it a little bit lean, and just getting to the very end. So they might stick it out there and just try the best to keep it out there, but they're going to have some fast charging people on some fresher tyres. The top of them is Skirley. He's made his way up to P9 now. He is definitely finding his way back through the field. He's got Stormin Norman Clark behind him in P10 in the beautiful Bumblebee liveried Atari Autosport car. Norman Clark, of course, veteran of the series, the South African wonder, Mr. Norman Clark. Very experienced driver and fantastic bloke to chat to as well. But yeah, we've got some good racing up the front, and as I said, there's some interesting stuff happening throughout the field. The fact that Matty Raymond has managed to keep that truck as clean as he had is something spectacular as well. Mr. Sheen living up to his name once more in the SRM car. Just a fantastic job for him, just to keep that truck as clean as it is, because he's been running throughout the field, working his way up the pack and overtaking people, and doing that without getting a massive amount of damage on the truck is incredibly impressive. You see people like Micklemore, Martin and Foster having clean trucks. Well, they're running at the front of the pack, not having to go side by side, not having to door knock each other throughout the pack, and yeah, it does make things a little bit tricky sometimes. Just want to go back to Lachlan Urquio and Troy Davidson as well, just before that caution came out. Those two just making a bit of contact and just having a little bit of a moment. But we're going to go back to green flag racing here. We have got 68 laps remaining here at Martinsville for the ANZCAR Truck Series Season 2.
Look like there, Clark just checking up a little bit on the restart. Unfortunately, Norman Clark says dropped a couple of positions, albeit doing really well. Joshua Carroll Walden up a whopping 16 spots as well. Looking in there, as you can see, a couple of Atari Autosport cars, but it is Micklemore and Martin once again taking us away at the front of this pack. Just see there.
As we've got big moment,
Ben Vickers, I think. Yeah.
Ben Vickers getting caught by, I think it might have actually been Matty Raymond there. Oh, no, it's Noddy Tompkins, sorry. Noddy Tompkins there, just catching Ben Vickers. Big accident there, and huge smash there for Vickers. That is devastating for Ben. Unfortunately, we've seen some really good pace from Ben Vickers recently in the Juice Digital car, but not necessarily the best of luck. A fair few cars having to jump into pit lane before that caution came out as well, because of, I'd say, instant points as well. So a fair few drivers having to serve some penalties tonight, because you only get 12 contacts, and then you have to take a drive-through penalty, 17, and then you're out of the race.
I'm going to look there as well. Like, that might have been Netco that got him the first time, and then obviously the carry on after that. So we'll see how that plays out after the race. But unfortunate there for Vickers.
Yeah, look, that's sometimes the problem. I mean, obviously, it is a big thing of online racing and sim racing in general, is we do have to put up with things like netcode, ping, internet issues are very much a thing sometimes, and it's almost like getting your throttle stuck in full metal racing. It's one of those things that unfortunately sometimes does happen. You can see Noddy Tompkins just getting under there and just not quite catching the brakes soon enough, and then boom, all of a sudden into the back of Ben Vickers there, and that was a big hit for Vickers. That truck is going to be a bit of a handful to drive. That suspension geometry is going to be out of whack for sure.
Yeah, certainly they're not quite net coded. Looked like there was a little bit of a gap between them when they ran into one another, but certainly on board there you can see that was not the case. So unfortunate there for Vickers, and we'll keep pressing on with this one. As I say, Carl, I think we might get through this one now with no fuel for our leaders as we sit. So we'll see what comes in the remaining period of the race. We've got 60 laps to go or so by the time the pace truck pulls in. Around another couple of times behind it, like 2 more laps at least, so we'll be that 60 laps to go. So this is the third last round of season 2 2021. So and if you did miss it at the start of the broadcast, Edward Foster currently leading the championship, but the men in front of him chasing him down, so it really is a battle at the moment at the top of the leaderboard at the front of this field.
Yeah, just looking, I think Double D Dave Douglas is going to have to head off to his couch and take a bit of a seat because he has been disqualified from the race due to contact. So he has hit those instant point limits, just getting a few too many taps, and I think that was more so taps on the rear. And yeah, unfortunately getting caught out there. The old cautions breeding cautions, catching Dave Douglas out, getting him caught in the rear there, and getting him a DQ.
So just before we go, green flag running, got Aidan Schultz. We've brought him up. He is looks like he's out for the night. Aidan, just things not playing out there tonight, mate.
No, mate, that's short track racing at its best, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Just a couple of unfortunate incidents. Good qualifying from you tonight as well, so disappointing that you weren't able to convert that to continue your run of form.
Look, it was always going to be hard around here. I'm not going away from this disappointed. It's one of those tracks where, we were good in there behind Foster in fourth. A couple of guys wanted to send it a bit early on that restart there, which spun me around. And then Dave Douglas there, unfortunately, didn't tell me that he was intending to pit. I didn't know what was going on there. So it doesn't matter. That's short track racing. We have fun. I've enjoyed having a good comeback of form. I did last night as well. And yeah, getting the fun back into it, which I enjoy, and you're obviously seeing that with good lap times and some good racing. So we'll be out again next time, as we always do.
Beautiful. Aidan, thanks for joining us again. Good luck in the future, mate, and thanks for running tonight. It is Josh Micklemore back at the front here. We're away back under green flag running ahead of Martin and Foster behind him. Lachlan Capel just managing to keep his nose clean as Carol Walden moves up into second place at the moment. So he's Carol Walden, I should say, moving up into 5th place at the moment.
Blaine Priest just getting caught out a little bit. He manages to save the truck, but just gets caught, tagged a little bit at the back. That's dropped him down a good few positions, unfortunately, for Priesty. He was running up quite well, but that's dropped him all the way down from, I think, up in the sort of higher areas down to P13, so he's dropped a good handful of positions there, unfortunately, but it's managed to save the truck from a caution. What I was going to say is we're probably going to see a few less cautions now, thankfully, just because a lot less cars out there. We were running 34 cars, I think, tonight, 34 trucks out there tonight, and it is a very short track, as we said, only 3/4 of a kilometre, so not much room out there, and when you've got so many people out there, it is easy for mistakes to happen. But that is short track racing. As Schultz said, short track racing is a very different animal, it's a very different beast, and it is very easy for mistakes to happen and very easy for things to go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Good spirits there from Schultz, as we always expect from him. So he'll be back as we're still here with the same three at the front: Micklemore, Martin and Foster. Capel's just dropped off a little bit. He's got Joshua Carroll Walden in his mirrors at the moment, and not too far behind them as well, Andrew Dyson in the DPR entry, who is looking to make the most of his current position as well. So these three are fighting it out. Troy Davison looking like he's going to join in that battle, and still the man on the freshest tyres in this top 10, Michael Skurlock, currently in 8th. The benefit of those will have worn away slightly by now.
Yeah, that's it. Those tyres will have dropped off. The one that is going to be looking good is Matty Raymond in 11th position. He's got very fresh tyres. He's only done about 40 laps on those tyres. So half the distance of the rest of the field, which are nearing 80 laps. Of course, we've still got 50 laps in this race, so still a lot to go. The battle between Lachlan Capel and Joshua Carroll Walden is really heating up. Joshua Carroll Walden is all over the back of Capel at the moment. So keeping an eye throughout the field at the moment. There are a few good battles going on, as we say, but Capel is going to have to really show us what he's got now, because he has got a grizzled veteran in JCW behind him, and then a fast charger and Andrew Dyson, Troy Davidson, and then Michael Skurlock and Nathan Clark as well. It's been a while since we've seen Nathan Clark up in the top 10, but we know he is very quick. Nathan Clark, of course, a dirt specialist in the Pace Syndicate team. He is very quick on the dirt, but also very quick on the short tracks as well. Really, really good on the slightly less grippy tracks, so watch out for him.
Yeah, no, doing a good job here, Capel, just to keep JCW behind him. That Natari Autosport entry looking relatively clean. A little bit of damage to the right-hand front corner, so the majority of these cars are carrying some sort of battle paint from the walls or other trucks around them, so they will be all feeling that. You can see there, Carol Walden now got Dyson on his back, so this is playing out well for Capel, who's able to open up a little bit of a gap, and I do mean a little bit of a gap. As up the front, Jason Martin, you can see there, he's really putting the pressure on Josh Micklemore. Looks like he's got a little bit of life, better life in the tyres on the 21, as he's giving Josh the hurry up here. You can see that there, Foster just backing up onto the back of it as well. In fact, right, a little touch there, I think, from Martin on the back of Micklemore, just got a little bit loose. So he's got some pace there, and Edward Foster as well. Looks like he's just giving Martin a little bit of a touch-up. So there's it's very much race on at the front here.
Yeah, Foster was just trying to push Martin into basically having to overtake his teammate there, just trying to get them side by side. You can just see that little bit of strategic touching up going on there between Foster and Martin there, as is NASCAR. You know, you're allowed to do that. There's nothing wrong in giving a little bit of a poke here and there to other drivers, and it's almost encouraged sometimes. As we say, rubbing is racing. But yeah, they are really starting to battle up the front. It's a good fight, good short track fight as well. We've got some good fights as well going on a little bit further down the field. As Urquio is trying to work his way back, he's just got past Dwayne Priest. So he's working his way up the field, trying to chase down Norman Clark now. But those guys are really battling it out. A little bit further up the field is Matty Raymond and Nigel Patton. Nigel Patton just getting loose, getting wide there, and just almost getting down. He's going to have to ease out there. He's going to drop back, probably behind, just side by side with Urquio at the moment, but he's going to drop behind. He's probably going to have to slip in behind Urquio and in front of Priest at the moment. But that's really going to help Matty Ray up, because he's going to get up. Oh, as Urquio goes sideways into Norman Clark, spins Clark around, and that's going to be another caution.
Yeah, hopefully everyone's going to get around here. It looks like they're going to. Clark got a little bit of damage there on the Natari Autosport entry, and he's just going to try and, try and get it turned around here. Just backing into his teammate, Joshua Carroll Walden. That would have been an interesting debrief at the end of it if that had happened, but not too much damage there other than obviously the positions dropped by Norman Clark.
Yeah, that's going to just hurt Norman a little bit. Just had to try and get that car back in. JCW, Joshua Carroll Walden, coming into pit lane. He's coming in and he's going to slap some fresh rubber on that car, I reckon.
I don't mind that as a move, Carl.
Sorry?
I don't mind that as a move, coming in and grab some fresh tyres.
Well, there are only 18 cars on the lead lap at the moment, so that's going to be quite useful for JCW. So an interesting strategy here. So we'll see how this one pays off. It could work out well. He's going to have nice fresh boots on for the last 40 laps of this race. Greg Spencer as well, he's come in for fresh boots as well. So there are a few drivers just playing around at the moment, so this could be interesting towards the back end of the race. As I said, watch out for Matty Ray. He's still up there. He's in 9th position now. He's still got tyres that are some 30, 40 laps fresher than some of the guys around him, so he's looking pretty good too. I'm just wondering if people are a little bit worried about fuel at the moment, because there are quite a few drivers coming into pit lane. We've got Finlay, Wooden, Hobbs and Curtis all coming into pit lane now as well, and just wondering if people are just a little bit concerned that maybe they need to just top up a little bit of fuel, or maybe just get those fresh tyres on, because it could help them later in this race. So definitely not over. We have seen wins done without pitting before, of course. Luke Traher getting that victory early in the season in Dover, I think it was, with the no tyre stop. But I think we've got fresh from his couch, Mr. Dave Douglas.
Hey, what's going on, boys?
We're just trying to work our way through here. We've just seen that Joshua Carroll-Walden's jumped in and grabbed a new set of boots on the Natari Autosport 35 entry, and just wondering how that might play out. How was the track conditions out there, mate?
They're not too bad actually. There's plenty of grip out there, but yeah, a bit snoozy on the restarts. A few drivers there, and then it just backs the pack up, and yeah, you get caught up with some silly X as against your name, basically.
Yeah, we did notice that a couple of them had come your way, mate, and unfortunately that ended your night.
Yeah, that's it. Nothing to do with Aiden. It wasn't his fault. He actually gave me the last one that DQ'd me, but a black flag at a short track. The night was already over by the time he hit me, but yeah, nah. It was okay though. I was just cruising into the back. I wasn't very fast for some reason. I don't know why, but just plucking them off as I go.
Well, it is another night in ANZCAR. Of course, there are plenty more to come like that, Double D, so we're sure you'll get the 199 polished up at some stage and get it up to the front of the field where we want to see up.
Oh yeah, mate. We'll have another crack. How's the call being going up here? Is entertaining race down there or what?
Yeah, man, there's plenty to see as we get back underway here. The 31 of Josh Micklemore again away out the front. Lachlan Capel's got a good start. He's got a bit of a run on Edward Foster, who's going around the outside, if you don't mind. But Foster there, too experienced for that. He says, don't worry about that, mate. I will take that position back and just nestle myself back up into third place here. As you can see, the DPF entry there of... DPF, I shouldn't be saying that. Andrew Dyson up into fifth as well. So good restart for him. Skurley getting in on the activity. He as well is up into sixth now. So slightly fresher tyres playing a little bit of dividends for him there.
Well, Dyson's doing pretty good out there with the pretty busted truck. Having a chat to him, he said there's not much going on there, but he's holding it down in fifth there, so he's doing a good job. Oh, as he gets sideways there, slides up the track.
Yeah, Nathan Clark on a bit of a run as well. He's got some good speed with Matty Ray at the moment. They're just trying to fight their way up past Troy Davidson. Michael Skurlock just getting up past Daiso as well, so Skurley is on the pounce now. Skurley is charging his way back up through the field from that early incident and that early pit stop, so we'll see how Skurley does. He's got Lachlan Capel up in front of him at the moment. It's given Martin and Micklemore a bit of a chance to run away from Foster, so there's a little bit of a gap between Foster and Capel at the moment, and then you've got Skurlock and then a whole heap of angry looking cars behind him trying to get up for the lead places.
He's just closing up real quick here. Andrew Dyson's going with him as well, so won't be too long before they're up on the back of Lachlan Capel, and he'll have the experience of Michael Skurlock to deal with as Skurley does close up there. Just Dyson just slipping back a little bit. Edward Foster as well dropping off the back of Jason Martin. You wonder there if maybe he's just saving a little bit of fuel like you were talking about before, Carl, with the concerns about fuel potentially here. So that gap at the front's just opened up ever so slightly.
And now we've seen we've got an experienced driver out there that's had a bit of a run tonight, Mr. DD, Dave Douglas. What was fuel like? Is it going to be an issue for some of these drivers, or will they be able to make it to the end?
Nah, fuel's good. You can get to the end from here. So I was actually going to plan on just not coming in at all. I was going to stay on the same tyre. So I dare say most of the guys at the front will be doing the same unless they get penalties. So a lot of guys are probably on close to that black flag. So that's one thing to keep an eye on.
As we've got a good battle going between Capel and Skurley at the moment. So Skurley is really trying to get up past Capel as it stands. A little bit further back, we've got Riley Curtis as well, trying to put the move on Dwayne Priest. Is going to get down underneath Priest actually this time round. Side by side, the two cars at the moment. It's Priest and Riley Curtis. You can see it on board with Riley Curtis. He's down, coming towards Manny Raymond. He makes the move, gets up that position. Nice move there from Riley Curtis, getting up into 11th place. He's going to want to try and get up into the top 10 now.
Yeah, JCW actually just made a move on Daiso as well there, so Daiso slowly creeping back with that damaged truck, so holding on as much as he can though.
Yeah, that's it. And of course, damage is never fun out here, and especially if it tends to be something suspension-wise and things like that, that makes it much less fun. Yeah, doing a good job of keeping the truck in somewhat contention. But at the moment, Micklemore and Martin are just running away. They're managing to pull out a decent lead out the front from Foster.
Well, it's JCW on those fresh tyres as well, so he's got fresher boots on than Skurley, and you can see it's paid dividends for him as well. As Skurley gets underneath Lachlan Capel, you imagine that JCW won't be too far behind him. We get the better drive out of the corner, And Skirley here probably going to do a little bit of a favour for JCW, just holding Capel in that high line with the old tyres on there. Not going to be able to do too much about that. JCW moves up into 5th position as well, so these two are coming. There's every chance that we'll see them up the front. We've still got 26 to go here, and they're on the charge.
Yeah, last time round, Foster's just set the best lap of the of this stint. He's got some speed left in that truck as well, so good battle going on between those guys. Just looking down the field at the moment as well. Riley Curtis and Matty Raymond just absolutely flying with each other as well, but Riley Curtis has managed to put the charge on Matty Ray, get up into P10 now, so Riley Curtis is putting on a bit of a charge. Looks like Capella's just struggling a little bit now in this thing, because he's just dropping down as Andrew Dyson is side by side with him. They're nose to tail at the moment, coming into turn.
Dyson's gone!
Dyson gets caught, goes up high.
Oh, drifting lines. Oh, there's a caution, but it's brought out a caution.
Yeah, he brought the yellow out there, but he nice slide there, did contain it, but yeah, he lost that from a long way back in turn 1.
Sort of thing we used to see Dyso do at the end of the event, not part way through it when he celebrates a win, but doing well there to not add to the damage on that simrigs.com entry. That is what it says, despite the damage there, and yeah, he'll be happy that he didn't end his night there, I think.
Yeah, 0 for 1 doesn't mind putting on a bit of a show off for the race with his bit of expression session. So I think that was the only incident in that caution. So he's done well to hold it, and he's going to continue on here with no incident points as well.
Just noticed Schultze there, just ducking back down into the infield care centre. I'm not sure what sort of candy they're handing out there, mate, but you only need to go there once. So I just thought we'd bring you back up into the booth to keep you company.
I'm just still trying to get all my confidence back, mate. Just trying to get it wrapped up and ready for next week.
Well, fair enough. As I said, the Dolly down there tonight. Dolly's working the infield care centre tonight, so she hands out some pretty special candies, I've heard. So anyway, we'll bring you up in here for the last 23 to go. It'll help Carl and I out. We're, of course, recovering from the tragedy that occurred this morning in the international footballing scene, so it'd be good to get some input from you both.
No comment when it comes to that, mate. No comment. I've seen it on socials, but no comment.
All I got to say is she's gone Rome anyway. But that's another story.
Dave, get out of the booth.
She's definitely not coming home. Get
out of the booth. But look, so this is interesting. Actually, this is the first time we've seen this season, and I'm glad that we're getting it. We've got the 2 Mitch Motorsport boys, and then following them are the 2 Natari Autosport cars. So we've got some teammates here to battle out at the end. We're going to have 20 to go when we go green here. We'll do a couple more laps under caution behind the pace truck, unless it makes a liar of me, but I believe we've got 2 to go here. And so it'll be interesting to see how Carol Walden and Foster work together, if they can, to try and get themselves up past the Mitch Motorsport boys, because Carol Walden on the fresh tyres. Carl, you're saying at the top of the show that it's been a little bit of a dry spell for JCW, so he'll be liking his chances here on the fresh rubber.
That's it. He's got a really good opportunity right now. He's on tyres that have only done about 21 laps of the race, while the rest of those guys have done the full 110 laps on those tyres. So he's going to have some relatively fresh tyres out there. He's going to have a little bit more adhesion than the rest of the trucks in front of him. So he's in with a good shout tonight, JCW. He could be in for his first win of 2021.
The other one here...
Go on,
mate.
I was just going to say, I'm keen to see the little fight between team boss Edward Foster and JCW as well. So obviously, see if Josh asks the word, I've got the fresher tyres, can I go by? Or whether Edward's, you won't, mate, if you want to go by, you got to go by your own power. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can get past and then actually try and take anything to these Mitch cars.
And to add on that, Dave, I'm actually really keen to see what's happening with the Mitch guys at the front. They've shown a clean set of heels all night at the front. Josh was the bridesmaid a lot. He's had a couple of good wins lately as they're about to go green again. So these Mitch boys will not give it up easily, as the Natari Autosport guys are on the second row. And don't write off Skurlock in there in 5th position as well.
Absolutely. Keep your eye on Riley Curtis too, on the freshest tyres of anyone he's sitting there. So he'll enjoy the restart here as the Mitch boys go. And once again, Micklemore just makes the move down there and just jumps back up into the front of this race. So it currently is Micklemore, Martin, Foster, but Carol Walden. Carol Walden's getting a run around the outside here. Foster's letting him go. Skirley looking to get a pathway through there as well. Not quite able to find it. So that answers your question early on there, Dave. I don't think you'd had too much of a choice about that.
Yeah, right. I think Edward just gave that to him and thinks better of it and just lets Josh go on those fresher tyres. But we had one spin towards the back there. He got turned off turn 4.
Wooden and Dyson, yeah. So looks like Dyson caught the curb there, lost the rear end and went up into Ryan Wooden there, and that spun him around there. So, yeah, unfortunately, a bit of a mistake there from Andrew Dyson. You wouldn't know it that he's still relatively new to the oval racing scene, Dyso. So he's still got a lot to learn on the ovals, despite taking out a few really good wins.
Yeah, wouldn't that ruin your mind?
And with 17 to go there, Carl, that's really good for JCW. We saw how much fresh tyre he had there to be able to drive around the outside of Ed Foster. Even though Ed would have made that really easy for him, it looks like he's got a really, really fresh truck moving into the back end of the race.
Yeah, so it's clean as well. He's got a little bit of damage on the rear, I think, from memory, and just a tiny little bit of scraping on there, but the rest of it is very clean, and he's got those nice fresh tyres as well. You can see there just on the side panels, little bit of rub in there, but it is a fresh truck. He has got speed, and we saw he had speed in practice. He didn't set a good qualifying lap, but he has sure got some pace in the race.
Yeah, up as high as third in practice before the qualifying session tonight, so we know he can get around here. He'll be favouring him for the win here, I think, and let's hope he gets it done for his sake. He rolled the dice on the going into pit lane and that last caution, or 2 cautions ago, and it certainly worked out in his favour here. So Mickelmore and Martin going to have their work to cut out for them. You see Skirley there as well, just lurking in the background. Edward Foster, he'll favour himself as this closes up here, and we're going to get a good run to the finish, 13 laps or so of green flag running, hopefully.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there, Stewie. I think JCW, he does not want to see that yellow flag, so he needs green flag running to try and use those tyres up and make the most of that advantage he's got. Otherwise, you just don't run. You're going to run out of time.
Yeah, it's tricky to make a move on the first couple of laps. You need a couple of laps just to settle in and just get that car going, get that momentum behind you as well. It's not like not like we saw at Indianapolis where you can make that move on the last corner. Here, you need to sort of get a good run after a couple of corners just to make it actually happen.
Yeah, and just have a look here, guys. I reckon off this start, you watch Jason Martin try and prop a little bit on that. Or no, he's probably want to go with Josh Mickelmore. So JCW is going to have to go with Josh on the inside line, as we've seen on the previous restarts. Josh goes really early, so maybe a decisive move into second here from JCW off the start.
Yeah, you might get a countdown from the 31 there for Jason Martin. I mean, they are teammates, so I'd imagine that's what's going to happen there is Josh will count Martin down so they can get a very even restart, and then that will allow Jason to drop down in front of the 35.
And Josh Mickelmore there chucks the car in as well when he's very aggressive on that restart. So on the tyres there, will that play a factor maybe in this one? That pace truck there is going to pull in. They're forming up here. Of course, you can't discount the fact that his teammate is there as well. So they'll be watching with eyes wide open, deer in headlights stuff, waiting to see the Mickelmore and Martin chain move off. But we'll see how they get on here as we get through our 10th caution. 13 to go here, 12 when we get started. And green flag running is what we want to see here. You can see everyone else chopping it a bit behind him as well as he's gone early. Mickelmore, he's got away to a really good start there with Jason Martin there jumping in behind him again to defend. Down on the low side there, JCW is going to make his way through. There's a little bit of checking up back in the field there. Oh, as Mickelmore gets really wide, almost runs into the wall there and puts a little bit of that unblemished blue paint on it as well. That's allowed Martin to close right back up. JCW chomping on the back wing of the 21 as well. So we've got 11 to go here.
Yeah, Mickelmore got a lot of wheel spin on that restart. He had a lot of that rear end just letting go a little bit and just lost a little bit of momentum. Had to actually check the car up a little bit to save it. So that gave JCW and Martin a little bit of an opportunity here. Will we see JCW manage to make it past? Will we see accidents happen? We see, I think that might be Dyson just going into pit lane and making a bit of a pig's ear of it. But Martin is going to have to defend from a fast charging Joshua Carroll Walden at the moment. JCW really needs to make this happen. There's only 9 laps to go, and it's going to be a very, very quick 9 laps indeed.
Yeah, he's not making too much ground there. The 21 is right on the back of the 31 there, but all you guys keeping up 9 on the front there, these boys are playing for keeps down the back. They're bumping doors. Riley Curtis was getting left high and dry, so it's not over yet.
JCW just makes a mistake there through a 1 and 2 and opens the door up for Ed Foster, who moves into P3.
I was just wondering actually if JCW may have just been moving back a little bit just to help defend Foster from Skirley, because of course Championship is very much on point here. I think JCW might have just dropped back a little bit just to keep Foster up in third, keep a little bit of defence there, because he wasn't making ground on Martin and Micklemore. Those two again have just checked out. They just seem to be able to just get speed in that truck despite having tyres that would not pass a inspection.
Yeah, I'd love to see Jason have a dive here as he has poked the nose out for a look, but he's all over the back of the 31. He's actually almost nudged him through turn 4 the last time by. But yeah, I'd love to see Jason have a dive here and see if we can't get an intra-team battle going on for the last couple of laps.
Yeah, of course, Championship is, of course, on the minds of those guys as well, I'd say, because Micklemore, Martin and Foster are all battling it out for the Championship. Currently, Micklemore is the lowest standing in the Championship, Martin second, Foster in first. So this finishing as it does is going to help the Championship for Micklemore a little bit. It's going to help him run up a little bit closer to his teammate Jason Martin, and going to get them a little bit closer to Foster.
We're going to get a yellow. We've got Nathan Clark in the 0-1. He holds it. Nathan Clark just got into the side of the 018 and he holds it, and Nigel Patton's just dropped down there. Sorry to cut over there.
No, good spot there. That was a big save, and that's really dropped the pack off as well. That's dropped all the drivers back from Troy Davidson all the way out of there. So big moment for those guys. But we have got 3 laps remaining. Micklemore is still in the lead. Martin is still looking at trying to make the move. Foster is on a good charge as well. These guys are setting some fast laps. They're in the 19s while everybody else is in the 2021s at the moment. So the front has still got some pace underneath them.
Yeah, the old head Foster, he's got one up over the 35 there. He's on the old tyres and he's still quicker, so he's made up a bit of ground on these two guys at the front. So it might have been a team call to let him by there and see if he can have a crack. But yeah, last couple of laps here, running down, 3 laps to go now.
Yeah, look, he's going to need to have either Micklemore or Martin make a mistake here to get past him, I think. As Martin does make a little bit of a mistake, just loses that rear end a little bit mid-corner. That's going to help Foster catch up to him. Martin just touches the wall there. This is really getting close. We're going to get the white flag out this time round. Micklemore's going to be in the lead. Martin second, Foster third. How's this going to finish?
Definitely Josh Micklemore's got this covered if he has just a nice solid last lap here. Good job by Ed Foster, just ranging up on the back of them, but it looks like this is the top 3, ladies and gentlemen, here on FGME Cast on a Monday night for the trucks.
And goes Josh Micklemore taking the checkered flag. Jason Martin second, Edward Foster in first. Joshua Carroll-Walden doing a great job, 18 positions up into 4th. Michael Skurlock manages 5th. Troy Davidson 6th. 7th for Dwayne Priest. 8th for Matty Raymond. 9th for Nathan Clark, 20 positions gained. And Lachlan Capel manages to finish 10th.
There's a bit of afters there. Nathan Clark just got fenced after the flag, so I don't know if you get a replay of that story, but he, there's definitely a bit more entertainment after that checkered flag there. Going into the 1. But yeah, the 018 car not happy with Nathan Clark there, obviously from that contact earlier towards the back end of that race. But Lachlan Capel it was. But yeah, there it is. Josh Mickle burn it down in the 31, Mitch Motorsports.
Yeah, that's it. We've seen a few we've seen a few paychecks come tonight. Troy Davidson and Lachlan Oakio as well having that, but yeah, I think Nathan Clark and Lachlan Capel are going to be they're not going to be sending Christmas cards to each other, because Nathan Clark made a massive late break dive on Capel, and that dropped Capel all the way back to P10. He was running up there and I think P5 at the time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just turning back and seeing if it was a deliberate sort of attack there. Oh no, actually it was the 85 actually got into the back of the 018, so I've found him guilty and he's innocent. So I don't think there's anything in that, as Josh runs around the backwards around the track and puts on a bit of a show for the fans here tonight.
Chucked him under the bus, Dave.
Oh, mate, case closed, mate. But anyway.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dave Douglas, coming up from your casting couch. It's good to see you off the couch once. And Aidan Schultz as well, thank you for joining us up here. It's a pleasure to have you boys up here, giving us a little bit more insight tonight.
No worries, considering we got together. But no, we've had a chat about it. It's all good.
Yeah, I appreciate it, boys. I'll let you guys take it over.
Yep. Have a good night and finish off the broadcast. Thanks for bringing us up.
No dramas, guys. Thanks for dropping in. As that bang in the background signifies the end of the Micklemore celebrations, a fantastic run from him, leading from start to finish tonight in the truck series. So we'll just wait for them to jump into the broadcast booth here.
Yeah, look, good run from start to finish. That was a heck of a run. Somebody that we didn't mention throughout the night, and I think just coming down into the chat, Brent Hobbs just managing to make it on 0 instant points, I think. So congratulations to Brent Hobbs, up in 14th position. He made a fair few spots as well. He was one of the big gainers, 16 positions in the race. Riley Curtis, Nathan Clark, the biggest gainers of the race, both gaining 20 positions. But no instant points. That is a fairly impressive thing to get on a short track like this one.
Absolutely, and we're joined here by part of our podium, just waiting for Josh Micklemore to make his way down, but we do have Edward Foster and Jason Martin with us, so we'll get started. Ed, a strong finish there for you for the night, some quick lap times right at the end from you, lead 3, but just not quite able to get onto the back of Martin there to make it happen at the end of the race.
Yeah, that was so much fun. That was so much fun. I love this place. It's like, even though when you get a few cautions, the stuff that we do get under green is just so awesome. You're running around there at the end, so every lap you come around, there's smoke hanging in the air, getting lit up by the lights, and it's just, it's great. I loved it.
Of course, you guys managing to keep your trucks clean for the majority of the race, obviously that helping a lot. Those cautions kind of came at a good time. We had some good extended periods of running and then just a little gaggle of cautions, enabling you to sort of manage your race a little bit tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I was able to hang with Joshy and Jace, without, feeling like I was overdriving it or anything like that. So I was just kind of sitting there, and I knew that, especially off the restarts, there might be an opportunity there. But at the same time, if I go down the inside of say, Martin I'd turn 1 on the restart and get second place, that means I'm starting outside row 1 on the next restart. And those two boys will be on the inside together. They'll be able to take off together. And that would then not only put me back to third, but leave me vulnerable to the next guy on the inside. So I wasn't really looking too seriously at making a move. I was trying to wait until a little bit later on when I thought there might not be another caution to make the move. But you know what it's like around here. That the only way I was going to get by is if there was a mistake or whether I actually moved him, and I never got close enough to really put the bumper to him or anything like that. And there weren't really any mistakes worth a name either. So didn't allow me to get a run. We had JCW coming at the end on fresh tyres, so gave him a bit of a go to see if he might be able to make it happen, and in the end he couldn't. So, we'll take P3.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like there was a small section there where you're trying to encourage Jason to maybe make a move on Josh Micklemore. We were watching you at the time, but Jason not quite able to, or not wanting to potentially put the move on Josh.
Oh, I don't know, man. They looked like they were fighting pretty hard. I was kind of, Jace got up his inside a couple of times and, looked like he was getting a run. And there was a couple of times when Josh clicked a curb, and I thought it might give Jace a bit of a run there. But I was, as the race drew on, I was kind of hoping for a little bit of fratricide, but not to be.
Yeah, so certainly not suggesting the guys weren't racing hard out the front either. So that's how it came across. It's not what I was intending yet. But just not quite able to get under him, I think, at the time where you had the pace to maybe go with him.
Yeah, definitely. You've got at a track like this, I mean, as we saw further back in the pack, you can't force something to happen. It's a little bit like road racing in that regard, where, you can't just dive in and expect everything to just suddenly work out. You've got to wait for the right opportunity. And if it doesn't come because the guys in front of you are too good and they don't make mistakes, then it doesn't come. And you can't force it. So, had a good run, good race, good clean race between us at the front. Just enjoyed it. I always enjoy this place unless somebody crashes in the back of us. Yeah, normally it's a really cool race.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And just got on screen there the two Natari Autosport cars. Good to see them both up the front. And Ed, as usual, just the thanks to your sponsors.
Yeah, of course. So you guys, FGM eCast, great to have you guys on board for this year. Race Magazine, Two Fat Blokes, Bridgestone Select, AJ Insurance Services. And I want to give a quick shout out to Lachlan Capel as well, because he spent a lot of time behind me tonight. And you always get a little bit nervous at a place like Martinsville when you've got a new guy up behind you. What he's going to do, is he going to get aggressive? Is he just going to send it in under brakes? Is he going to miss his marker? But I tell you, that guy's got some racecraft. He's a lot smarter. He raced a lot smarter than I expected him to, and I think he did a great job. So, yeah, shouts out to him as well.
Yeah, echo those comments. We were giving him a good talking up during the broadcast as well. So, definitely raced very well tonight. So, Edward Foster, third place. Congratulations in the Natari Autosport entry. Move on to Jason Martin. Jason, looked like Ed was tapping on the back bumper there, but you were putting Josh under pressure all night, mate, just not quite able to get the move done.
Oh, I was definitely trying, don't you worry. I was trying to make that move work, but once you get on that inside, you just can't get the drive off without pushing wide a bit, so I just couldn't make the move stick, but yeah, I was definitely trying every lap. That was bloody hard work.
Yeah, no, we could see there was definitely plenty of good racing at the front between both of you, and there was a couple of instances there, as I think Ed touched on, where Josh sort of just tapped the curb, and then unfortunately late in the race there, you just got a little bit loose for you.
I wasn't shifting all night until about the last 20 or so laps, so it took me a few laps to get used to that, so I was a bit looser on exit than staying in fourth, so that stuffed me up a little bit, but yeah, after I got used to that, I thought I'd be able to make a move, but I couldn't get it done.
No, as usual, just another really strong performance at the front for Mitch Motorsport, and you guys obviously taking out the 1-2 again tonight. The championship-wise, this will make things a little bit closer.
I've got no idea about the points. I don't really pay much attention to them. I'm just here to have fun.
Well, you certainly did plenty of that tonight. So, as usual, just the shout out for yourself there, Jace.
Well done, Josh, on the win. Tried pressuring him into a mistake, but too good, too clean. BK Designs and all the boys at Mitch Motorsports.
Also another really strong performance from you tonight. Move on to Josh Micklemore. Josh, congratulations on yet another win, mate.
Yeah, cheers, guys. It was good fun.
Coming in a flurry now after following around the Purple Beast for a while. You've got out in front, and a really good run there tonight, running start to finish at the front.
Yeah, well, battling pretty hard. Like Jason said, he wasn't leaving anything out there. He was really trying and pushing, and that's what we want. Even though we're teammates, we're still going to race each other bloody hard. But he put a lot of pressure on. I did make a few little mistakes. I clipped the wall a couple of times as well, but managed to get away with it. So it was good fun, though.
We certainly saw you two battling away there. You were really, really strong on the restart. Obviously, Ed there gave us a little bit of insight into what he was planning on the restart, but you were really good and aggressive on the restarts there, and that certainly helped you get away.
Yeah, with the rule where you can't cross lanes before the start-finish line really hurt my entry into turn one pretty much every time, so I was sort of like couldn't go in as hard because I wasn't arcing it out or whatever to get the nice entry that you normally get. But yeah, other than that, restarts weren't too bad. It wasn't too bad on the wheel spin either, so no, it was pretty good.
I'd say certainly the case. We're talking about that and the wheel spin and trying to manage that here. And I must admit, I didn't even pick up on that the lane change rule, because we were commenting on how aggressive you had to be into turn one to get down onto that inside line. So that certainly explains it.
Yeah, so you can't. Yeah, you can only go halfway up the track before the start-finish line. Otherwise, you get penalised and whatnot. So.
It was a good run there, and you guys setting some really strong lap times as well. The front three of you there, your last lap around was the fastest lap of anyone on the track on that old set of tyres as well. So a really, really strong finish for you here at Martinsville.
Yeah, I was pushing. Like I said, I was pushing pretty hard. So with Jace, he was still there. So yeah, just pushing hard and just making every lap count.
Just quickly, just jumping up in here. 33 points between all three of you coming into this round, obviously. It's very close at the top for the championship between all three of you now. And we've got 2 rounds remaining now, I think. And it's going to be pretty tight.
Yeah, 2 rounds to go, Carl. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this one finishes.
Yeah, I'm a bit like Jace. I haven't been walking out the points, to be honest with you. I've just been racing and having fun as well as Jace. So
Don't forget there's that drop round there as well. So no one really knows where they're at until the end.
It was interesting, Edward, talking at the start about the fact that consistency is key here, and we keep saying all 3 of your names each week at the moment. So it is going to be a really, really close run to the finish. We're looking forward to the next couple of weeks. Of course, Josh Micklemore, a quick shout out for you, mate, and congratulations again on another win in ANZCAR Truck.
yeah, so the Mitch Motorsport boys, BK Designs. I'll have a shout out to Edward Foster, actually. Matt Hunter and Daniel Grzeskovic for all the hard work they've put in so far in ANZCAR. It's become a bloody awesome league. So, pat on the back, guys. Keep up the good work. Appreciate it. And also, you guys at FGM Ecast, you've definitely stepped it up lately as well with the videos and stuff, Stewie and Carl. So, probably the best broadcast ANZCARs have ever had, I think. So, good job, guys.
Cheers, mate. Certainly appreciate it. And likewise to Ed and the boys. They put in heaps of unsung work that goes into keeping this series as good as it is. So, echo those comments. Beautiful. So we'll let you gentlemen go. Carl, another night, of course, we weren't able to hit the 500 in the green racing laps. 10 caution periods here tonight. But all in all, a fantastic and interesting race.
Yeah, that's it. We saw lots of racing, short track racing, of course, very hard to remain green the whole time. I think, as I said at the beginning of the broadcast, if it went green the whole time, it would have been an eat the hat moment. But some really good driving out there, and we saw some really good passing as well. And that battle for the lead, absolutely stunning. Those 3 guys at the top of their game at the moment and really putting on a masterclass up the top of the field.
Yeah, it always amazes me amongst the teammates how close they can run and compete and not touch one another. So fantastic stuff at the front there from Mitch, as always. And Jason, just you're very, very experienced as well. So he'll be gunning at the bit to try and get in front of the 31 of Josh Micklemore next week. He won't be liking sitting there behind him at all. So we'll keep an eye on that battle. Of course, Edward Foster there. Good to see Joshua Carroll Walden get up into the top 5 as well. And Michael Skurlock with a hard charge. So plenty to talk about from this one, which I'm sure we will. Tomorrow night, of course, we're back with the Oz Pro-Am Sim Series coming to you live from a new entrant to the iRacing world, which is the Red Bull Ring. So looking forward to getting back there for another doubleheader sprint race at the Red Bull Ring, and then Wednesday, Thursday, obviously back with the Xfinity and the Cup Series here on the ANZCAR Series, or the, I don't know, I was about to say the ANZCAR channel here because we do a lot of ANZCAR, but with the Xfinity Series and, of course, the Cup back on Thursday night.
Yeah, looking forward to New Hampshire. It's going to be a fun one. And, of course, the A1 ring, or the Red Bull Ring, or Österreich, as it used to be known. Austria. It's going to be an exciting one. Looking forward to that with the GT3 cars. I took a spin out there in practice as well, and it's going to be an interesting race for sure. Yeah,
I did a quick couple of tour laps around there to do some of the prep work for the stream, and it is, I forgot how fun a track it is. It's certainly going to test them, some very, very fast-flowing sections there, so looking forward to that tomorrow night. So we'll be back tomorrow night from 7:45 on FGM Ecast, your E-Place for Pace. Qualifying extended in the Oz Pro-Am Sim Series as well, so don't miss out on that. And looking forward to seeing you all back tomorrow night. As always, Carl, thank you very much for joining us on this sort of negative day that has cast its world way over the football world, but fortunately able to bring some fantastic racing here on FGM Ecast, your E-Place for Pace. From us, myself and Carl with you. We will see you tomorrow night. Good night.